What's up guys, Noor here and welcome to Book of Showtime Chapter 44. As always, if you enjoy these videos, be sure to like and share with your friends, and if you have a topic you'd like for me to cover for Book of Showtime, be sure to leave it in the comment section down below, or any way you can reach me on social media or the Book of Showtime Discord. So guys, I wouldn't normally do a review video for a game that I didn't get early, but Alan Wake 2 is... I think saying that this is a special case just doesn't describe the situation. Man, what a game this was, what an experience this was. You know, I'd first played the original Alan Wake back in June of 2010, and I fell in love. The narrative, the world, the characters, the gameplay. And as someone who's a nectophobe, Alan Wake just resonated with me on a level that I've never felt before with a game. I played a lot of Alan Wake. Even after my initial run, I played it to collect all the achievements that I could. In fact, it was the first game I really wanted to get a ton of achievements in. I liked the achievement descriptions, the names, the logos, everything. I played this game for my late mother because she was a bookworm and she loved watching me play this. You know, with her being a big fan of the Twilight Zone, Alan Wake was right up her alley, especially the Night Springs collectibles. Come on, it was tailor-made for her. It was awesome to play a game for her, to show her a game that she can buy into. Alan Wake was also a huge part of my stream career, with me having streamed the first two games to completion on the air, and with Alan Wake scenes woven into some of my many intros. Now, I wish I could have streamed the remastered for you guys, and who knows, maybe one day in the Discord server. My love for Alan Wake didn't stop at the game. I read the novelization by Rick Burroughs at least 3 times, and it transitions from controllers to pages so seamlessly, which shouldn't be a surprise. The first game's pacing was like a novel, and me being an avid reader at the time, this was just another way Alan Wake clicked with me. It was like I was playing a book. But sadly, while Alan Wake was universally well received, its sales were indeed dampened by 1, being a new IP that's only available on the Xbox and PC, and 2, releasing in the midst of a stacked May 2010. In fact, it released the same day as this other game you might have heard of, Red Dead Redemption. So for years, Alan Wake and its standalone arcade title American Nightmare, they were relegated to cult status. Alan Wake remained in the 10 spot in my all-time favorite games list, and it's funny because out of every game on that list, minus the Call of Duty entry, it's the only game from the last 13 years to make it. I know you're seeing Black Ops 2 on there, but that's just a placeholder for many Call of Duties, as I can't pick a favorite between Black Ops 1, 2, World at War, and Modern Warfare 2. They all have tremendous sentimental value to me, but I digress. This isn't about Call of Duty, it's about Alan Wake. While Remedy moved on to other projects, releasing Quantum Break in 2016 and Control in 2019, there was always hope I'd get a new Alan Wake game. Quantum Break, it was a solid game. I liked the combat, but I couldn't really get into the characters and the plot. And Control was fantastic. Even though my Xbox One was dying trying to run the game, I still enjoyed it start to finish. No one does world building like Remedy. The way they presented Control, it was like you knew of the universe the entire time. What really made me like Control was the various Alan Wake references, leading up to the inevitable Alan Wake crossover DLC, which showed us that, hey, Wake is still out there, he's still fighting the Dark Presence. In September of 2021, Alan Wake Remastered was announced, not just for Xbox, but for all systems, including Switch and the PlayStation consoles. This made me ecstatic, not because I had an excuse to replay one of my all-time favorite games, but because more people now have access to Alan Wake. With streamers and YouTubers and social media, more people would be turned on to Alan Wake. The remaster would drop a month after its announcement, which is always cool to have a short, time frame between announcement and release. And the game, it was just as great as it was 11 years prior. Hearing Space Odyssey after all these years still hits. Then, in December, it happened. Alan Wake 2 was announced at the Game Awards. At the time, I was asleep, as I could just watch all the trailers the next day and I had to get up early for work. But someone in my house woke me up, and coincidentally, this was right after Alan Wake 2 was announced. I went to check my phone to see what time it is, but I had a couple of people DMing me asking me if I'd just seen what had happened. I wish I was there live, but still, my dream game was coming. A sequel to a story I've been waiting over a decade to see resolved. I was desperate to find out if Wake would ever escape the Dark Place, if he would ever get back to his wife Alice. Leading up to Alan Wake 2, Wake himself would make a pit stop in Fortnite, with Epic Games making a special map that allowed you to experience the key moments and lore from the first game. I play Fortnite a ton, and the fact that I can now play as Alan Wake alongside some of my other favorite characters like Jill Valentine, it's so surreal to see Alan Wake grow from this cult entity to what it is today. I know Epic also publishes Alan Wake, but come on, it still seemed like such a stretch for him to appear in any game. Now I promise as we dive into Alan Wake 2, this will be spoiler free. There's a lot of things I have to leave as a surprise, so most of this will be a focus on the gameplay and how Remedy delivers this amazing narrative. At around 11:45 p.m. on Thursday the 26th, my heart started racing. I was so close. No more speculations, no more delays. The 13-year-long itch was finally about to be scratched. My heart stayed racing all night as I trekked through the twisted realities of Alan Wake and Saga Anderson, experiencing all these emotions, all these feelings, the joy, the frights, the nostalgia, the intrigue. Alan Wake 2 had me in a chokehold. I was just as in love with this game as I was with the original all those years ago. Never in my life have I seen a survival horror game march so vehemently to the beat of its own dark and convoluted drum. Alan Wake 2 might be in the survival horror genre, but it is what it wants to be. Between the haunting jump scares and the gripping story, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. While the jump scares I didn't like much, I scare easily, I tolerated them because, like with Wake, facing his fears, I had to dial in and face mine. Now, from the eye test and early trailers, this game looked to have a lot of Resident Evil DNA, but I think with its semi-open world structure, it actually has more in line with The Evil Within 2 and how that game had a lot of exploration for the player to go through. The gameplay was very good and about what you would expect from Remedy when it comes to their gimmick combat. There's also plenty of ways you can go about upgrading and preparing yourself for what lies ahead. While there are some technical boo-boos, there's really nothing that stood out or diluted my gameplay. I did see people on Twitter saying they were having audio issues, but fortunately for me, I encountered no such thing. But I did turn the volume down to help with the jump scares though. They were really creepy, especially since they were in live action. I loved playing as both characters. Seeing how they pieced together their paths, how they solved their dilemmas, Saga with her detective work, Wake with his writing, it was awesome. For a survival horror game, this was presented unlike anything I think any of us have ever seen. The final hours of this game in particular really hit me. A lot happens, and after the credits rolled, I was still having trouble keeping calm. My heart didn't know that it was okay to stop racing. Alan Wake 2 gets a 10 out of 10. Heck, it gets an 11 out of 10, and my top 10 list needs to be adjusted. Whatever expectations I had were shattered, and I cannot wait for the DLC. I need more of this game. In a year where we've had so many tremendous games, Alan Wake's light shines the brightest to me as both a big fan of Alan Wake and a survival horror buff. This was a wonderful, wonderful game, and if you can pick it up, please do. You will not be disappointed. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. This is a very special chapter that I just thrown together in a few hours. I just had to talk about this game. Make sure to try it if you can, as soon as you can, and inshallah, I will see you in the next chapter.